Okay, so today is now is the daily market analysis for the 23rd of July, which is Tuesday the 23rd. A quick disclaimer first, any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, so please remember that your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered. You should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. And that actually helps me answer some of the questions that we've just had through the chat here. Okay, so I'll take that away for now. Okay, so Diana just said, I do trade it if I'm not convinced with one major. I'm going to go through a lot of the chat because the chat has been going quite well today. So we'll go through the chat, and also because you can see that we don't have that much news to talk about for today, with only existing home sales for the US, Richmond Manufacturing Index for the US to come out later, and Euro consumer confidence to be released as well. Not major news events that I would pay attention to too much. So we do have time to address other questions. So if you have any questions, keep them coming. But before that, what has happened since the last time we spoke? Ooh, what happened there? Back one. Yep. So yesterday, again, as usual, or as we spoke about yesterday, no major news that happened. Right, the main things that we're looking forward to will be tomorrow with the BOC rates decision, 25 basis point expected for tomorrow. Of course, I will tell you more about that during tomorrow's session. And then we have a whole bunch of PMI numbers to be released for the Eurozone, for the UK, and also for the US. So it's been quiet. It's been quiet for, you can see that on the dollar index, this was where we were on Monday, right? We gapped down and pushed down because of because of Biden's, President Biden's announcement that he was stepping down, not running for re-election. And then as it pushed down, it found at 23.6 retracement level. It bounced back and it's been in that range. So it's only been ranging since yesterday and today between 104.21 up to 104.40 on the dollar index. So a very tight range here on the dollar index, and it's pretty much been consistent across all the other major currency pairs as well. So not been super exciting because of the lack of news yesterday and today, but ideally we should be looking at the increased volatility, increased liquidity through tomorrow, and then with the GDP on Thursday and the core PCE price index for the US on Friday. So looking at a little bit more exciting times coming up. Okay, June Marinas, how are you doing? Good morning. Now, to answer a few of the questions, so what we did this, as usual, you know, I've been streaming since this morning, US yen, right? So US yen this morning, we saw that pushing down. Let me move this. Let me check. Oh, I can't do that. Oh no. Okay. Put that there. That was up there, about there. Okay. And then we had that. So we saw that US yen pushing down. We had it from yesterday where we were looking at the yen to the downside 156.60, right? So I want to find that point again. 156.60 right there. We were looking for that yesterday. It pushed, sat right above that level, bounced around, and this morning we saw that pushing down. So it was right along this point. And it was pushing lower, actually one before. So as it was pushing lower, right there, yeah. Push down. I posted that onto the Discord channel saying, hey, look at the yen. It looks like it's possibly getting to what we wanted to do the day before, and then we saw it push down, so I actually got in a little bit earlier, highlighted that on the live stream, and then after that we saw that push down. Right, we saw that push down, MACD cross over to the downside, and then it pushed. Next moment it was outside the Bollinger, and we said, hey, watch out, it's outside the Bollinger. If you scroll back up, you see that it could have retraced. I was saying that it could retrace back, but still looking for further downside. So once it was outside, I closed out at 30 pips. I closed out at about 30 pips, is 32. At 30, as it was outside the Bollinger, right? Looking for it, whether it's going to come back in and then push back down again. So why do I close out my trade? I mean, I see some questions there. Why do I close out my trades early? When do I look to close out of trades? Comes down to several reasons. One is if it comes to the point where I'm doing the live stream, you all know I don't like holding on to my trades during the live, leading up to the live stream or during the live stream, because, you know, I like, if I have a trade running, I want to look at it, I want to think about it, I want to focus on the live stream. So sometimes if I've got something else to do that I'll focus on, I would close out my trade. Two, if there are technical reasons why I should close out my trade. For example, if it's outside of the Bollinger Band, you know, we know it's going to we know that it's likely to retrace. When it's outside of the Bollinger Band, you just don't know whether it's going to retrace all the way or whether it's going to retrace halfway before continuing back down. So once it's outside, I'm more tempted to close out my trade. For example, like this one, see, it popped right out. Next moment it comes right back in. It would still come back down, but it's just how much it's going to retrace by before it comes back down. So technical reason, well, things to do firstly, secondly, or distraction, and then secondly, technical reason, or thirdly, if there's some big news coming out, right? If I'm in a profit, maybe I would say I'll take the risk. I'm happy, I'll move it to break even. I'm happy to take the risk and let it run. If not, then I would say there's a news coming out. I want to close out the trade, secure the profits, and then see what happens after the news or during the news, whether I can get back in or not. With that, as well as the yen pop down, one big thing about the yen as well is we've seen it pop down very quickly, bounce back up. You'll see that I also said during the, as I was saying, I was selling down. As I moved that to break even, I said, you know, secure that trade, move it down to break even. As I moved it down to break even, I saw it outside the Bollinger, so I closed out the trade. So remember, when it comes to trading, I see the comment there where, where's the comment? Where was it? I can't find it now. Oh. Part of good trading is sticking to your trade setup. It is sticking to your trade setup, but also it is knowing when to secure your profits, when to get out with a profit, right? Because as much as you want to hold it to a take profit level, you want to try and maximize on your trade, you also want to secure a profit. So I'll put securing your profit higher than sticking to the trade setup, because the setup can change. Can change because of fundamental reason, can change because of a technical reason, a whole variety of reasons. So, you know, secure the profits. If you see something that's telling you it could reverse, secure the profit and get out. Okay, so I hope that helps. New beginning for, you know, in terms of when to get out of a trade. What we're doing here, again, as a big reminder to everyone, analysis that we do, live analysis that I do, live streaming that I do, it's 100% not a signal service. And while I'm talking about a signal service, if you come across any Telegram channel that talks about a signal service by me, it's not me, right? If you come across any Telegram channels with my name or face on it, it's not me. Yeah, so this is not a signal service. This is not telling you exactly when to get in or when to get out. This is giving you the general direction, or sharing with you the general direction of where I look at prices heading towards. In general, where I look at as a trigger level to the upside or to the downside, just to guide you along with your trading journey as well. Okay, so I hope if you approach it with that mindset, then you're not going to try and take it as a signal. Then you won't try and get in or get out at the same time. It's almost impossible to get in and get out at the same time, because I'm going to enter a trade first, because of my accounts and all that. I'm going to get into a trade first, then I'll plonk it in. Sometimes I forget to plonk it into the chat. And when I get out of a trade, it's more important for me to get out of a trade first before I put it into the chat as well. Unfortunately, that's how the process will flow. All right, so I hope you'll understand where I'm coming from with that, and I hope it still helps you with your trading journey. Okay, any questions with that, please put it into the chat and let me know. Okay, with that, Digital Business was asking, do I still anticipate that it's going to be moving lower? I do think so, but it all comes down to what's going to happen on the dollar index, which we'll talk about shortly. Hi, Nuachuku, how are you doing? Thanks for that, Jinwei. I saw a divergence by trying to build discipline or staying longer in a trade. I want to use coach as a follow method to do so. Yeah, so it comes back down to your time frame of of how you approach it, whether it's an H1 time frame, H4 time frame. If you are going in it on a divergence, hopefully it's on the bigger time frame, then you would want to sit through, especially like for the yen, you would still want to sit through a bit of that fluctuations, right? It's only gone up from 156.30 to 156 even .60 is a 30 pip move back up. I still do think it's going to push down. If you have a healthy stop, that's what we had from before, which was 40 pips up, right? So up there, your trade will still be there. We're still looking for that to push back down. I'm still looking at it to push back down, as I was sharing earlier during the stream. Okay, so now, okay, I had that. Okay, definitely play a lot better learn to take profit when you stay longer in a trade is when you are sure when the candles won't have too much wicks. Definitely, that's right, Christopher, exactly. Remember, it's not, any time you are in the market, so this has gone from daily analysis to a bit more coaching. Hope you don't mind the distractions. But anytime you are in a trade, anytime you're in the markets, it is risk, right? It is risk. The longer you're holding a trade, the greater the risk. So when you think about it, the longer you're holding a trade, the greater the risk, the bigger your payoff you expect, right? So you want risk and payoff to have that balance. So it comes down to, hey, if I'm in a trade and it's quickly making profit, I want to get out because I want to cut away the risk, securing the profit. Okay, thanks for sharing that, your view on that as well, Christopher. Appreciate that. So now let's get into it. No major news for today, right? No major news for today, which also shows why the dollar is still stuck within this range. This morning, as it was pushing down, I highlighted this area going, if this breaks, we could see this push lower. It didn't, right? It's still holding that point. I do think that the dollar is likely to remain in this range, right, that we saw since Monday. One thing you would notice, well, I deleted because it was too messy. But from yesterday, we were talking about this as I was hoping for it to come down here, right, to push back up as an inverted head and shoulder. It could be a very ugly So if I take that away for now, all right, it could do that as well. So we have that way as a skewed head and shoulder back up again. So even if it doesn't come down to this 104, I would love for it to come down to 104 and make it a lot stronger for that push up. But even if it doesn't come down to that 104 support level, you can still see a shoulder, head and shoulder. So that inverted head and shoulder still plays with a bit of a skewed inverted head and shoulder with that neckline still there. So if this does break out, we could still see that upside move. Okay, so looking at this 23rd of July right now, I'm thinking less likely that it's going to break down to that 104 level. Right, so let me take that away. Okay, ranging between 104.20 and 104.40. Break, if price breaks 104.40, I would like to say 104.50 just to give it a bit more space. We have the inverted head, can't type today, head and shoulder could retest 104.80. Okay, so there we go. So what I mean by that is it's ranging in this at this point here. If it breaks above this neckline and that 104.50 level, then we would be looking for this to push up to that resistance level of 104.80, which is also that 50% retracement level. Okay, so ranging now between 104.20 and 104.40. If price breaks 104.50, we could see it retest. So we got the inverted head and shoulder, test 104.80. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. So now take that, zoom it in a little bit, take that line away. All right, so that line still holds at 104.20. If that breaks, then yes, you could see it test the support, but still look for it to bounce back up in that way. Okay, but we're looking for that to push up. All right, cool. Then with that said, now looking at the Kiwi, we had this to the downside from yesterday. Don't need the Bollinger for now. All right, we had Kiwi to the downside. Fibonacci doesn't make sense for now. Take that away. If you are still on this trade, then it is pushing to the downside. Sorry about that. If you're looking at this trade, it is still pushing to the downside. Looking for it to possibly head down to this support level if we do see that dollar strength come back into play. 61 is done. We can take that away. Don't need that. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. I'll keep this point here. Support, I would revise it down to that. So my support level, I'll revise it down to this swing level here. Okay. So now looking at the Kiwi again, at this point, what seems to be happening, or what could happen here, is that as the dollar sits in a retrade or in that consolidation here, I'm actually looking for it to possibly test the resistance and reject to push back down again. right? Test and reject to push back down due to dollar strength. 5975 about, I'm just thinking, can it go a bit lower? 5970 20 to 50 to the downside. So we're looking for it to test, to retrace, test, reject, push back down, and do that. Okay, I'm happy with that. So 5970 20 to 50 to the downside. 5970, stop loss 20, take profit 50 to the downside. Okay, yep, happy with that. I wouldn't be buying it up, right? For sure, I wouldn't be looking to buy it up just with the way it's been pushing to the downside. I was just thinking whether a channel would work here, but that's a very narrow channel, which could also work with that, but it's too narrow. I wouldn't like that. Then onto the Aussie, that didn't trigger. We're thinking of that as an alternate scenario if the dollar strength came back into play. I know Haider was running on the Aussie dollar to the downside. Has worked out very well. And I know Haider must be super happy right now. Okay, I don't need this for now. Take that away. It's come down to this level. All right, put that there, take that away. It's come down to this 0.662. Awesome, Haider. 6620 level, right? This interim level where we saw it bounce on the 28th of June, right? And you can see that if I stretch this right across, it came quite close as well. So 6620, just that point there. It came quite close on the 24th of June, pushed back up, and in fact, just drag it right across. Right, so it formed that, and you see here, shoulder, head, shoulder, break that neckline to push back up, and we saw a big upside move following from that. Right, so that 6620 level was that good neckline that it broke and pushed up, didn't break below on the 24th, came very close on the 28th of June before pushing back up again. I don't know why I'm coughing so much today. Okay, now at this point, it's coming back to this level at 6620. If you were like Haider, you got into the trade, you made money, you closed out your trade, stay away for now, wait for it. If we're going to see that dollar strength come back into play, I would want it to break below this point. Break below 6620 before I would be looking to sell it down, following on with that dollar strength scenario. 6615. Tight stop, 15 pips, no more than 15. Take profit, 35, 40, maximum of 40. I would say 35 would be reasonable. Just down to this 38.2, which we have seen very violent, is that right word? Very violent reactions on the Aussie, because it came right down, pushed back up at this point, came right down very strongly on 10th of June and bounced. We saw again that inverted head and shoulder very close to that point. So if you want to trade the Aussie down, just look for it to break 6620, come close to that support, but this is going to be a very critical and crucial area that should hold, maybe should hold the Aussie unless you see massive upside on the dollar. Okay, so 6615, 15 to 35. Not looking for alternate scenario here on the Aussie. Sell 0.6615, stop loss 15. Did I get it right? No, 15, take profit, 35 to the downside, yes. Okay, you can see the dollar still pushing up, so I like that to form and push lower. Now onto the US yen, right? Look at that. This is why I think that the US yen does still have that downside potential despite that retrace that we just saw the last hour. And dollar is pushing. The last 2 hours, dollar has been pushing up. But yet, we saw the yen push up, and then the next current hour, or this current hour, is retracing slightly back down again. So what I'm looking for here on the yen, right? And if you zoom right out, you'll see that it came right down, bounced back up to that 38.2 level, resisted, held that resistance as well, pushed back down, it's broken off this range. We'll take that away. We saw that it broke that 38.2. It's found 61.8, which is holding, and then it's retracing right now. So what I will be looking for, and as much as I think it's going to push lower, what you're going to notice as well is if it does push down 156.10, stop loss, you're looking at about 30 pips, take profit. Hey Christina, how are you doing? No worries, take profit, you're looking at about a 70 pip move to the downside. 70 will be maximum of 70, because I feel that it might, let me see, it's very likely it will hold the 70 or come just before that 70 before bouncing again. Maybe even 60 would be reasonable. Just in that, and you notice that that one was right or still within the Bollinger, and then it came and bounced right back up. So it didn't even bounce because of Bollinger. I think this was the whole intervention play, right? And then it came right down to 155.40, and then it pushed right back up again. So that is the level we're looking at. Needs to break lower, I would say 156.10. Could you go a little bit higher? No, I would say 156. At the highest you can go 156.15. I would say 156.10 would be the slightly safer option, 30 to 60 to the downside. Okay, so sell 156.10, stop loss 30, take profit 60 to the downside. I did have a comment from yesterday's analysis. Somebody left a comment in the video asking about including US yen analysis. It is included as part of it. The second question was, why is the US yen pushing to the downside? Is it because of the BOJ's policy, or is it because of the dollar weakness? It is, or the BOJ has been talking about another rate hike coming up, right? A possible rate hike coming up again. So that has been adding that pressure to the downside for the yen. But we're also seeing that uncertainty with the whole election and all that happening with the dollar, that's also putting a bit of that downside pressure. So that's the two components. It's not just one, it's not either or, it's the two components coming together, applying that downward pressure on the US yen. Okay, especially if it breaks at 61, what I think will happen is it'll come down slightly, push back up, and then do that. All right, okay, that's good. Then onto the pound dollar. I was so keen on this. I was so keen on this as it was pushing back up last night or yesterday evening. I thought it's going to break. It came very close, and the next moment it came right back down again. So it stayed within that range. I can't remember who was saying, I think it was Basanta who was highlighting that as I was looking for that to push up, now that we're thinking dollar strength is coming back into play, then yes, that bearish flag or pennant or pattern comes into play. If it breaks below this level at 1.29, a nice round number here at 1.29, if it breaks below that, we could see further downside on the pound dollar, right? But if you are a little bit more aggressive, let me see, take that away because that's 38.2. What you're looking at here is below 1.29, 1.2895. Stop loss 30, 20 would be good. The take profit is very tight at this swing level here. That's the thing, that's the main thing I don't like about this, about trying to trade it down at this point. Right? Because it's the take profit is quite close. I think that maybe if you look at that, that way, break 1.29, give it a bit more space, 1.2890, stop loss 25, take profit 110 with a hesitation at about, I would say that it could break this, but it might bounce back up slightly, about 1.2840. No worries, new beginning. I just end up talking too much during the whole day, that's why. Okay, so pound dollar, we're looking at that with a bearish flag. So we're looking to sell at 1.2890, stop loss 25, take profit 110 to that 61.8 level, and also that swing level here, which makes good sense. Okay, so 110. Take profit 110. I would say there is a bit of a hesitation at 1.28, about 1.2850. No, I'll keep it there at 1.2860. 1.2860. There we go. Done. Okay. Main thing is that we want to see that dollar index break above that neckline and push up. Then that's going to give that big driver to push the pound dollar to the downside. Then similarly, very similarly, the euro dollar that pushed down right across. In fact, it's not even slanted up. You could even be looking at that sitting right across. That's pushing down. If it does break those lows, which is very important, it needs to break, because I just stretched this right across. You see that all that tails there, you want it to break below that point. Right, this level here where it bounced on the 12th of July, it bounced again on the 16th, it bounced again on the 22nd, right now it's pushing down, needs to break and close below this point. So I'll say 1.0870, maybe even give it a bit more space to make it 1.0865, stop loss 20 at the very most. take profit, push it back up a little bit to be 55. That would make sense. Let me check one more. No, that's fine. I'm not fussed about that point. Okay. So euro dollar pushing down, dollar strength, it needs to break 1.0875. We're looking at 1.0865, 20 to 55 to the downside. Okay, 1.0865, stop loss 25, take profit 55 to the downside. No, 20, okay. There we go. Alrighty, then on to the US Swiss franc. Same analysis, we were talking about this yesterday, where it's sitting across, looking for the dollar strength to push it back up, break that resistance to trade it up. So I'll keep that view where we're looking for it to break above 8925 to the upside, 25 pip to 85 to the upside. We'll keep that buy 8925, stop loss 25, take profit 85 to the upside. Good morning, Jamil. How are you doing? I hope you're well. So we'll look at that, push that right across, 1.8925, 25 to 85 to the upside. Okay, I'm happy with that. Just thinking 75 would be a more reasonable level. I'll change that to 75. Alrighty. I like how that's playing out. I really like how the dollar is playing out. That's I'm just thinking of another move where if you look at this, I'm just thinking a couple of days ahead, is that with the GDP possibly going to be good news for the dollar, possibly, it's still 2 days away. We could see the dollar push up. Then ideally, we're going to see core PCE price index maybe show a bit of a slowdown in inflation growth. Again, possibly cementing the likelihood for a rate cut scenario from the Fed in September, which could look like, you know, dollar pushing up to that resistance over the next couple of days. Core PCE price index on Friday comes in, brings about some weakness on the dollar and pushes it right back down again, reversing from that 50% retracement level. That would be the most ideal play on scenarios that I could think of. Okay, if I could plan the markets, that's what I would draw and hope it plays out. So that's that. So then we can see that test and reject back down again. Then with that, USCAD, it was right in the middle, wasn't ready to trade. We don't need that for now. We wasn't ready to trade that up. We wanted to see it test the resistance and push back down. At this point, with the anticipation for that dollar strength, I don't think we're going to see that, or likely to see that turn back down. I think that we're possibly more likely to see that test the resistance and push higher, right? Especially if that inverted head and shoulder plays out, then you're looking at 1.3790. Stop loss will be very tight, 20 pips. Take profit, you have a good 50 to the upside. Okay, again on dollar strength. So we are bordering on being risky with having too much anticipation for that dollar strength, but it looks like it could play out. 1.3790, 20 to 50. 1.3790, stop loss 20, take profit 50 to the upside. Okay, Jamil said, close my trade, takes 86 pips on gold. Very nice. We're just about to look at gold. Came right down, right? Came right down along the support level. I'm looking some changes the trade so I can think much better, close the trade, but very nice profit on gold. Yes, I do think it's a very, any profit is a good profit. 86 pips is very nice. Right now, gold is sitting along the support level of 2386 or 2387 and 2398. Right there, it's sitting in that range that we've seen, formed by that swing level, and this swing level here. Okay, so it's sitting right across, sitting right on this support level right now. It does look like it could bounce and retrace slightly, right? But if we're thinking that the dollar could strengthen, that should push this back down. It should push it back down. But because it is retracing slightly right now, I would be looking for the maybe a bit of a retracement back up to 2410, maybe to test 2410 and then to push back down again. Right, to test that level and push back down. So the same thing like it did here. It bounced and then it came right back down, sitting right across, looking for it to possibly bounce, test, and then push right back down again. So I would still say the same thing from yesterday, where we're looking for it to break below 2380 to get to that 2350 level. All right, so we're looking for it to first could retrace higher to 2410, wait for retracement to complete, needs to break 2380 to trade down to 2350. Jamil says, yes, that's the reason I closed. Exactly. I love it that we're in line with that. Okay, so that's the majors complete and the gold complete. We were talking about, where was it? Pound Aussie as well. Right, so pound Aussie, I totally missed this one. We talked about this yesterday where we said either look for it to retrace down to that previous swing level and bounce and trade it up to the resistance, or if you're a little bit more aggressive, we were right at this point here. So we say look for it to push up, get in at 1.940 and trade it up towards that resistance, which would have just hit your take profit in the last couple of hours, right? So that played out very nicely. At this point now, the question is going to be, is it going to go higher? Could it break this resistance and head higher? It actually does look like it, right? It does look like it. Reasons for it to push higher, I would say, is that dollar weak, the Aussie dollar pushing to the downside. Weakness on the Aussie dollar is going to drive the pound Aussie higher. Pound dollar sitting along this range might, for now, might hold it. So we're looking at this maybe pushing up, but like I was struggling yesterday, and I would still struggle with it today, is if I look at it on H4, the last time we were at this point was in March. Beyond this point would be early March at the next resistance, which is not very far away. And then beyond this, let's see, beyond this you have it up here, which is a distance away. Okay, so now back to the H1. Looking at this, I would say that that becomes a bit of a dotted level, right? And you see here, MACD, the TSRI MACD looks like it's going to be crossing back up again. You want the hour to close above this resistance before you're looking to get in. I would say 1.9520. Oops, 1.9520. Stop loss 30. First, you got 40 there. I would be very careful because the last time it broke beyond this point, this was in March. And before that, we're looking at September 23, right? So since it broke down from this point in September, came all the way down, bounced back up, found this level in March, and then it's been trading in this range, now pushing back up again. If it does break, it's going to get crucial first there, then you could see further upside. So that's what I would do, is be very cautious with that first trade up. You might even be looking at 1.9515, 20 to a 45 to the upside first. Then as it pushes up, you'll be looking for that to continue trading higher. Okay, we just saw it pop up right now, mainly because of the Aussie popping slightly lower and the pound still sitting right across. Okay, Diana says it will break because daily time frame trend is still strong. It is very strong. Even on the H1, it's strong. On the H4, it's very strong. It's not even threatening to be outside the Bollinger at this point. Then on the daily time frame, it's nice and strong as well. Still looking for the upside move. I think that there is a good chance for it to get to that 1.97552 or 50 level, but I do anticipate that it's going to be a bit choppy in this area, like kind of what we saw here. All right. Cool. No worries, Jamil. Now, with all that said, quite a number of setups that we're looking at, very dollar bullish for now. It all depends on what's going to happen on, not what's going to happen, but how is it going to break from this range, whether it's going to break and form that inverted head and shoulder to the upside, or whether it's going to come back down and maybe even form a double bottom. So we're going to have to wait and see. The setups are there. The stream is going to continue. If I get into anything, I'll share that. If you have any trade setups, do share your trade setups as well. Please remember to help me out with that like and subscribe button. And if you haven't already, the Discord link is there in the descriptions as well. Take care, trade well, trade safe. I'll see you on the stream. I'll see you on Discord. If not, then I'll see you tomorrow as well. Take care now.